Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Kayla Lindsay here, and we are going to talk today a little bit about how to make money in real estate. More specifically, why you need to actually track your numbers. So let's dive into it. Why do we want to track our numbers? Well, here's the thing. When I first started in real estate and I heard every top agent go, track your numbers, track your numbers, track your numbers. What did I do? I got overwhelmed. I didn't track my numbers. Now, I didn't understand why it was a big deal until year 2, right? As you come into the end of year 2 and you're going, wow, I made a lot of money, or I did this, or I did that. Look at these achievements. The challenge was I had nothing to compare it to. Reason being, I hadn't tracked how many calls I'd made the prior year. I hadn't tracked any of the contacts I'd made or how many appointments I went on, how many I won or lost, how many actually got listed, how many dropped out, what I was spending. I wasn't even keeping a P&L statement. I'm sorry, Dustin. That's my CPA. I wasn't even keeping a P&L statement. If you don't know what a P&L, it's a profit and loss statement. If you don't like numbers, hire a CPA. They're worth their weight in gold. But here's the thing, I wasn't tracking my numbers. So the challenge with that also came because I also wasn't tracking the sources of my business. Now, if you're just getting started or even just a few years in, you might say, well, yeah, that's easy. I had 6 transactions or 10. They all came from here, one there, one there. As you start to grow your transaction numbers, it's going to get more and more difficult to remember, where did this person come from? In addition to that, you're gonna have even more of a challenge, especially if you're working with buyers right now, because buyers, it's not like 2006, y'all. You can't just get a buyer, go show a house, put 5 over, get closing costs paid for, and go to closing. That's not how it works right now. No, now you're showing 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 houses, probably offering on all of them, still not getting something accepted. So what's happening is we're working with buyers far longer than we ever have before. Do you think you might forget where that actual referral came from or where that person came from? Yes. So let's talk about why we need to focus on tracking our numbers and how we figure out what our client sources are, okay? So tracking our numbers can be really, really easy. And if anybody is interested in getting my numbers tracker, or should I say my client tracker, go ahead and comment below, or you can go ahead and click on the link in the description below and just go ahead, drop your email. I'll send you what my tracker looks like. Now, my tracker tracks everything from how many calls you made, how many appointments you went on, how many offers were submitted. In addition to that, I might add as a little bonus in there, my commissions tracker, which I also put the source of business. Tracking your numbers is extremely important. Here's why. 1, we need to figure out what's going on with your business. If you are making 1,000 calls a day and you're not getting any listing appointments and you're talking to like 50 people, we can easily pinpoint what's going on. That means you've got an issue with your scripting. You're not able to convert those people into a listing appointment or a buyer appointment. If you're getting the appointment, but you're not getting the listing, it comes back again to scripting. Okay, let's talk about what you're saying in the listing appointment why you're not getting the deal, right? And if you're not getting any deals, you're not getting any appointments, but we go back and we look and you're not getting any contacts, okay, we need to start calling different sources if you're actually calling the volume you should. And last but not least, if you're not getting anything done and you're making 100 calls a day, guess what? Increase your volume of calls. So by tracking your numbers, we can see what's going on. Now, here's the cool thing. When you overlay your numbers of prospecting numbers, right? So calls, contacts, etc. If you lay that with your deals that are closing, you're gonna be able to see a stark similarity. So for example, if in January you had a peak in calls, and then in March or April you had a peak in sales, guess what? Technically, this peak in calls correlated to this peak in sales. So you got to shift them. Again, it could be a 30 to 90 day turnaround from the activity to getting the end result. Now, you might call people for months and months and months and they don't pick up, they don't do anything. It's okay. But when you start looking at those numbers, the more consistent you become, the better the outcomes are and the more measurable. Now, here is one of the biggest reasons I say track your numbers and also track your client sources. There are a lot of companies out there that say, pay me money, pay me money, pay me money, and I'll get you leads. What ends up happening? For anybody out there that is watching this and they are laughing to themselves right now, it's because they've done it and I have too. I'm speaking from experience. Nothing I ever say comes from somebody else. This is all stuff I've already gone through, so I want to teach you this. You need to focus on what your sources are. And when I say sources, not just of leads, but of closed sales. At the end of every year, we take account of what closed sales we had and where they came from. Now, the interesting part is over the years, my sources have changed and it has caused me to change up where I'm putting my money in either my advertising or my time or my efforts, etc., in order to get the right return. So client sources are very important. So if you get to the end of the year and you say, wow, well, it looks like out of my 30 transactions, 25 of them came from client referral. And the other 5 were scattered between a lender referral and an expired and 1 FSBO and then 1 Zillow lead. Guess what's gonna happen? The ones that are costing you money and didn't give you a return, cut them immediately. We did try Zillow once. I had an agent on my team that really, really wanted me to try it. So I said, well, if you're gonna call, let's give it a shot. Guess what happened? At the same time, I was doing Hops and Home Buying, which was a buyer workshop that I created. And on this side, we had Zillow. The cost per, and this is, by the way, this is very interesting. It was the cost per lead, not cost per closing. Cost per lead, I think was $300 for Zillow. Cost per lead for my home buyer workshop, guess how much it was? $3. $3 was my cost per lead over here. When I started to review, because I do quarterly and 6-month reviews, when I went down and I looked at that and I said, wow, this is how many leads we've gotten from each source and this is the cost of them, we immediately dumped Zillow. If I didn't review those numbers and I didn't know what our sources were or how many leads or closings we were getting in, how likely do you think it would have been that I would have spent thousands on Zillow without even knowing it? You need to check your numbers and you need to be okay with saying, I was wrong, let's dump that. Now, here's another fun fact. My first couple of years in real estate, my main source was expired listings. How cool is that? What was the cost on that? Well, the actual lead procurement was about $50, and then I had Mojo, which was my dialer, which was another 100 until I upgraded, and then it was 175 because I got 3 lines. Highly recommend it if you're calling expireds and FSBOs. But I was able to look back at those sources and say, wow, I'm really good at this. Let me push harder into it. What it also does is it leaves a gap to say, okay, which is my runners up? Where are my runners up in lead sources? And how can I improve upon them to get the numbers higher? So areas that I found that needed improvement, that I was getting some kind of referral or lead, etc., and I was getting closings from it, but it wasn't as consistent, was referrals. Now that referral is from clients, from friends, family, etc. So I'm gonna lump that in together to say sphere and past clients. I wasn't tapping into it. Now there was a reason for that. When I first started, I didn't want to call friends and family. Like, I believed in myself, but when you gotta sit across that table at Thanksgiving and look somebody in the eye, you better damn well know you did a good job. Now, I always brought my A game and it proved it throughout all the expired and for sale by owner homes I sold my first few years. But I finally started branching out into past clients, sphere, friends, etc. in my 3rd, 4th year. Now, here's the cool thing. My first few years, all expires. Now, where is my shift? Guess what? My number 1 client source now is past clients and referral. Now, when I say referral, it could be from agents, family members, friends, etc. Those are my top lead sources, is past clients and referral. Now, when you look at that, you might say, yeah, well, Kayla, you've sold a lot of houses. Of course you get past clients. Did you know that while 73% of people after selling or buying a home say that they would use the same agent again, only 3% do? So when you start looking at those statistics and say, okay, well then obviously A, I did something right, and B, I must have a decent follow-up system. I will tell you this, you don't need to be perfect. Write it down if you haven't done it already. Perfect will make you broke, good enough will make you wealthy. You're never gonna have the perfect system, you're never gonna have the perfect way. But what we have started doing, and what I personally have started doing, is pushing into past clients sphere referral, right? It's a source where people obviously want to work with me. They want to refer friends and family. So now it's time for me to dive into that. But if I wasn't reviewing where my sources were coming from, where my closings were coming from, I wouldn't know. And I could be spending thousands of dollars over here on these leads and thousands of dollars over here, or time and effort in places that were not giving me the return that it deserves or that I need. So here's your homework. If you haven't started tracking your numbers, don't do what I did and freak out and try and backtrack. Start from today. Start tracking your numbers today. Go ahead and click below. We'll go ahead and email you the number tracker, okay? And 2, start looking at your lead sources. What are your lead sources? And as we're coming into the end of the year, it's a perfect time to do that because you know where you can push in and do more, okay? So go do your homework. It won't take that long. Remember, don't backtrack, just move forward. Hope you guys got a lot out of this. Make sure to go ahead and register below. We'll go ahead and get you the numbers tracker as well as actually I created it myself with the help of my husband, but my commission tracker, which also has lead source on there. So go ahead and get that below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.